What if trusting your intuition is the key to discovering your true path? How do we use our intuition to make better decisions and manifest your dream life? Is intuition and does your gut instinct tell you good or bad decisions? We have to say yes to the uncertainty. I believe every decision that you make is a good decision for you at the moment. In order to create this dream life of yours, the first step is Hello there, Brave Table fam. Welcome to another episode of The Brave Table. I'm your host, Dr. Neeta, and this is your destination, your oasis to be all things just a little bit more brave in your actions, in your relationships, and in your life. And today, I have a question for you. Did you know that your intuition is a powerful tool for manifesting your dreams? Hear me out. It may not make logical sense always, but what if trusting your intuition, more of it, is the key to discovering your true path? Today's episode, I kind of want to invite us to really think of some of the nudges that we tend to ignore and what that can be doing to block you from the abundance, block you from the amazing relationships, block you from the wealth, block you from the opportunities because we don't trust our gut enough. Now, if you are just tuning into the Brave Table for the very, very first time, this is where we brave our health. We brave our new frontiers, our new chapters. And this week, we are braving our spiritual practice. And one of the things that really has kind of helped me anchor in all of the healing modalities, all of the ways that I had in the past abandoned myself. One of the ways that, or several ways that I would kind of put my needs last is when I didn't listen to my intuition. And there were many, many moments of this. And in order to start building that spiritual practice that's on your terms. And when we think spirituality, some may think, oh, is that religion? Is that dogma? Nope, I'm just saying a connection with yourself. And that's the first and foremost things. Your spiritual practice is your own sacred time. And I know as mothers, we are constantly shifting between to-dos and things, and we're kind of all over the place. And many of you know that I had announced a few weeks back that we had done this crazy, incredible move from the US to Dubai. And I'll link that show in the episode notes for you. And I really wanted to merge that with kind of, when you know. But the thing is what if you're not paying attention to those signs? And there was a time in my life where I didn't pay attention to those signs. There was a time in my life where I would listen to what other people would say. In fact, my elders' opinions, the voice of my parents, and because they passed away early on, and I was orphaned right before I was 19, I was 18 at the time, I kept their voices running in my head. Now, to this day, I still believe that they are my angels, they are my guides in many ways. But one can also say maybe that is your intuition. Maybe that is your intuition powered by some angels or guides or, other beings that if you are open to, and we all have different ways of our connection with ourselves. But oftentimes we dismantle it. We ignore it. We think it's not smart enough. It's not good enough. It's not powerful enough. We don't trust it. And there's a reason why science says and researchers say that our gut holds as many neurotransmitters as in our brain, that our gut, our stomach is our second brain, that the fact that you feel butterflies in your stomach when you're going into a meeting, or if you're feeling that sensation that, okay, I need to get out of this place is not safe for me, it's dangerous, or this community, these people that I'm talking to, I don't know if I'm actually feeling the right kind of appreciation or acceptance, or I don't know what their real true motives are. we can sense these things. And sometimes the sensing is not quantifiable. It's not something that we can put a finger on, but we just kind of that inner knowing that oftentimes we reject. And I see this often with my kids. My kids will tell me something, Mama, I don't really like that. I don't want that. That person is scary, or, they won't go and hug a family member, or, and we think as parents, oh, it's because they're not being friendly, or they're being too shy, or they're being too timid. Our kids know. They have that essence. They can feel if somebody's energy is off, which is why a lot of times if somebody has frantic energy or really anxious energy or is really upset or mad, they won't go to them. But of course we mask this because in the Asian, kind of people pleasing or respecting the elders culture where, every single elder is right, we would go on and kind of say, no, you have to say hi to so-and-so. But it starts that young. So imagine now you're an adult, you've been programmed this way your entire life, and now you're listening to the voices of the elders around you and you're forgetting your gut. And so even though you might know that, man, that person that I'm dating right now, that person's not for me. That person is just treating me badly, but nope, I'm going to give them a second chance. I'm going to give them a third chance. I'm going to keep going back to those types of people and patterns, situations and circumstances that haven't served me, but I know in my gut it's not giving me life. Well, guess what? That's your intuition screaming at you. And for many, many years, when I was in my tumultuous, abusive relationship, my very first marriage, these were kind of telltale signs. These were red flags. And I remember even as far back as in elementary school, I was in the 7th grade, where I would be subject to bullying. And I knew that I was so afraid of going into using the bathroom during the day in the school stalls because I was afraid that, there were going to be these girls who obviously didn't like me for whatever reason. And I knew my gut back then because I knew if I would go into the bathroom, who knows what would happen. And I haven't shared that story often, but it was a very, very scary time. So I would hold myself going to the bathroom all day until I would get home at about 3:15, 3:20, and then empty whatever I could because I was so afraid of going to the bathroom. Again, that's trusting your gut instinct. And how do we get back to that? Now, our intuition can actually give us some incredible knowledge if we actually follow that path. And there was a time where I trusted my gut and I said yes to all the things. And I said yes to the breadcrumbs and every single breadcrumb that I said yes to. And this was following my path of strengthening my intuition. And it began with leaving my first marriage. I knew that I couldn't stay no longer at that home at all back in Chicago, and I had to leave haphazardly, and I trusted that gut. I also trusted my gut when it was time to say goodbye to my lucrative dental practice. I said yes to selling something that gave me financial freedom, something that gave me so much abundance, something that was stable, something that was certain, something that I had so much agency and control over. But I knew in my gut, my heart of hearts, that wasn't just the end. That was just the beginning. It was just a stepping stone for what else was to come. And I share some of these examples because many times we think, oh, okay, I'm in this circumstance, I'm in this situation. I don't know if my situation is going to get better. But then we have something, it's like a pit in our stomach. It's an inner knowing. It's something where, and people have different ways of knowing. Some people get goosebumps. Some people get like a download or a dream or a vision. Some people are able to hear voices. Maybe you hear kind of the angels or, voices or something that tells you don't go there. Don't go down that alley. Don't take the car today. you'll get these downloads, or maybe you'll have it in a friendship or somebody telling you something. There's a message getting passed to you and you internalize it because you know that that message actually is for you, that maybe I should go to that event because maybe there I will meet somebody that could be my forever person. And that's exactly what I did. And I was at the time where I was hosting an amazing female gathering, and I would do this because I'm a community builder, and I was a community builder back then when I was in Chicago. And women would come and they would congregate in my living room, and I outgrew my 1-bedroom apartment in Chicago because we would have these gatherings of people coming, women coming, and these professional women with, it started out as a book club, and then we would talk about life and passions and business and our dreams. And somebody said, you need to go to this event. I can't go, but you need to go. That event would later lead me to meet my now co-pilot, my co-partner, the love of my life, the father of my 2 kids. And that would begin an interesting journey that would lead me all across the world. And that was another point of trusting my intuition. So how do we use our intuition to make better decisions and manifest your dream life? Well, the first thing is we have to say yes to the uncertainty. So this idea of following the breadcrumbs, think about every invitation, every text message you get, every opportunity that you get to meet someone. The universe is aligning all of these possibilities that are aligning with your frequency. And if your frequency is love, if your frequency is joy, if your frequency is peace, if your frequency is harmony, if your frequency is openness, then guess what? The universe is going to align all of those people, places, opportunities, and things into your field. And if your frequency is that of lack, people are going to get me, oh my gosh, nothing is working out in my favor. I keep attracting the same people. I keep attracting the guys that betray me or girls that betray me. Nobody likes me. I don't know if I can ever do this. Again, your frequency will be that of lack, scarcity, fear, anxiety, overwhelm. And guess what? You are going to attract people, places, circumstances, and things that are going to align with that frequency. So you will attract people that will not be very nice to you, that will not be very kind to you, that may talk behind your back, that may not want the best for you. And again, it all starts with what we are priming to tell ourselves to change our energetic body so that we can actually truly understand more of our own intuitive blueprint and our own intuition. And what do I mean by that? It's that inner sense. It's that inner knowing. And building that skill, building that muscle, building that sense of deep awareness and deep knowing. So take, for instance, okay, the universe is going to, or God, whatever you believe in, is going to bring you, maybe somebody's going to send you a text message and say, hey, you want to come to this dinner party? So you can check in with yourself. Ooh, do I really, really want to go? And I'll give you an example of this. Just the other day, I was invited to this amazing birthday party, lavish people, amazing human that was throwing it, and so many amazing people that were going to be there. And I'm like, oh, how do I actually feel? I feel energetically depleted because we just moved. My kids have just been wanting mama. I do not have the energy to go. Can I find any resource in my mind? Well, I know that if I do go, am I going to be pleasant to anybody else? Nope, because I'm going to have the fact that I have to wake up the next morning on my mind, the fact that I have to do lunches in the morning on my mind, the fact that I have a busy day in scheduling and prepping for podcasts and things like that. All of that's going to be on my mind. So am I going to be present at this party or event? No. Is my energy at a 8 or above? No, it's not. It's at a 3. In fact, it was at a 1. And what does that mean for when I'm going to wake up again or go to sleep? Is it going to impact my sleep? Absolutely. 11. 10 out of 11. It's an 11. And so all of these things were signs that I'm like, no. And I could feel it in my stomach. Don't go. Don't go. And I didn't end up going. And actually, that's not only creating boundaries for yourself, but you're trusting your intuition. Because guess what? The next day I woke up, I had so much more energy. The sciatica in my lower leg just disappeared. My kids were in a really great mood. I had so much energy to take them to, school and all of the other things that we had planned for the day. And so again, this starts out with trusting your gut instinct. Now, when it doesn't make logical sense, so for example, when my intuition was telling me, Chicago's not the place anymore, you're not meant to be here. And I started seeing patterns, I started seeing visualizations, I started seeing signs, and signs because I really was in love with California at the time. And I saw signs of, California license plates everywhere. I got emails from people inviting me to speak on stages in San Francisco and in LA. I got accepted into this program at Stanford I had a nonprofit at the time, nonprofit management. So all of these signs were furthering this idea, this gut feeling that I had of, I know my second place, this next place that I'm about to move, is not going to be staying here in Chicago, even though it did not make logical sense, even though I still had 15 people that I was, taking care of, putting food on their table because I was their employer. I had doctors working under me. I owned a building there. I had so many things and anchors that tied me, real estate that tied me down to this particular place. But all of the energetic signs, because I was paying attention, because it was open, were gearing me into this place called California. And, fast forward now, 8 years later, were there signs that were telling me that our time in Austin was up? And yes, there were many signs. And, again, when you're building that relationship with your intuition, some things you'll start to notice things, people, patterns, situations, messages, signs, maybe the hairs on your, if you get like goosebumps, or the hairs on your arm will start to stand up when you're reading something, or when somebody's telling you something, or there's so many synchronicities happening. That means that, hey, your intuition is coming into fruition. And there were so many signs that began to pop up and jump out when I started to feel that, okay, I sense that our time in Austin is completely done. But that same year, I purchased the car of my dreams, the car that I'd always wanted, and finally was able to, get that. And it was just such a milestone for me because I'd wanted this car ever since I was a teenager. And of course, when coming to Dubai, I wasn't able to, there was a big thing of like, oh, should we sell this? Should we go? We're going to take such a loss on it. But again, trusting that gut instinct, that intuition, that there is so much more waiting for you on the other side. Now, is intuition and does your gut instinct tell you good or bad decisions? I believe every decision that you make is a good decision for you at the moment. At the time, space, season, era of life that you're at, there is no bad decision from your gut. In fact, oftentimes we minimize that because we think logically. Logically, it would have made sense to stay in our very comfortable home that it took me literally the amount of time, it took me 2 years to actually build because we had a beautiful backyard. And again, home of our dreams over there. It was on a hill. It was secluded. You can see the trees, you can see other homes, but it was, miles, kind of not miles away, but like just further off there. There was spaciousness. So there was ample amounts of creativity. We were able to create a beautiful backyard for my kids to play in, a pool that my husband, said yes to. And it became a biohacking oasis. It became an oasis where we convened and gathered and created community and nourished community there. So people are like, well, why would you ever leave that? Because if your intuition is so strong, you trust it, and you trust and you start that inner process and inner knowing. And for me, what it's looked like over several years and several iterations from navigating, leaving a tumultuous marriage in the middle of the night, leaving my very lucrative and safe career as a cosmetic dentist, completely shifting and leaving cross country from Chicago, where I had lived all my entire life, to San Francisco, then later on, nomading it around the world, and then moving back to LA. And so now I know when these intuitive hits are actually coming, and I call them hits because it's almost a seed that gets to plant. And I remember coming here a year ago, to be exact, actually a year ago in some months, and I just fell in love with the energy, with the vibe, and again, more and more things started showing up about Dubai. More and more things started gearing me towards here. I had to come back again a couple months later in February for a family wedding. And I brought my bonus mama, my aunt, my Bua, here as well. And she fell in love with it. And she fell in love with the reverence of people and how amazing and just wholesome people are towards their elders, how safe she felt everywhere she was going by herself. And just the amount of, the amount of hustle, the amount of future forward, the innovation, all of these things that were just so exciting for New City. And it was that same feeling that I felt when I knew it was time to go to other places. And so how do you start harnessing your intuition and really creating that dream life? Well, the first is writing down what is that vision that you want to create in your life. What do you see for your vision? Who do you see that vision coming into fruition with? If you don't have a partner, who is that partner energetically? Is that person kind? Is that person working with you? Is that person considerate? Do they make you laugh? Where are you traveling together? What are you experiencing together? Are you doing yoga together? Are you doing business together? Maybe you're not doing business together. Are you creating a family together? So when we first envision that, a greater vision for ourselves, and then we go into, well, how do I want to feel? So the next part is the emotionality with it. And the emotionality is huge because the emotionality really tells us, all right, what is it that I want to feel when I get those things? And even if I don't get those things, how will I feel as a result? Well, I was still going to be great in all the places that I was living. Chicago, felt really nourished and nurtured and safe and secure. Austin, we had our home team, we had our unicorn team. We had such a great support system that had been with us for many, many years. In LA, we had our support system that had been with us for many, many years. And it takes a village to raise our family. And, because we didn't have any family that was local or close by. So, our team and our staff became our family, and they would be the family for our kids. And so we didn't really have any sense to leave Austin. But again, I kept getting these hits of, I wanted to be closer to my roots, closer to India, closer to the Philippines, closer to the places that I love. My husband wanted to be closer, much closer to his parents. And so we started to talk about it and started to pray about it. We started to meditate on it and started to ask, all right, show us signs. Are there signs for us to stay here, or are there signs for us to go? And I just kept getting that feeling. Anytime anybody would talk about Dubai, anytime anything would come into my feed about Dubai, I would say, okay, oh my gosh, yes, there is this thing that's calling me back there. And so this feeling, how did I feel when I came both times? I felt energized, I felt rejuvenated, I felt loved, I felt accepted, I felt that there were so many people that looked like me and that were also in the same mindset of growth-oriented, welcoming, inclusive, that were just not, one race or one person, but there's all different kinds of people. and because that's who I am. And so you start attracting those kinds of people into your life. But more so, how do they make you feel? Welcomed, home, grounded, nourished, excited. And so that emotionality is that second piece to anything you want to build or create that intuition, is that inner knowing. And then the third piece is to sit with it, to sit with that intention, to sit with that vision for yourself, to sit with and see, okay, is this what is meant for me? Or if there's anything more, better, I'm leaving it in your hands. And then the rest is up to life. And the idea is that we're not going to get so tied into this lack energy of, okay, this has to work. I have to do this. I have to get that position. I have to get the job. I have to get the promotion, because that's coming from a place of, I'm trying to control the situation and I'm trying to make this fit so badly. It's kind of like if you've ever dated somebody, but you know that, it's not going to work. And you saw the red flags from like when you first had lunch or dinner together and you're like, that's not going to work. But wow, do they look amazing? Wow. Do they just, they look really great on paper. Our families would get along together. So you have all of these things logically, but you still have this gut feeling of like, I don't know about that. There's something off there. That is your intuition. That is that secret sauce that we need to pay attention more to. And we don't do that a lot. So in order to create this dream life of yours in whatever area of life that you are trying to shift and change and transform, the first step is first envision, dream, a big dream. What does that look like? Who are you with? Where are you? And get really clear and write it all down. And next is, how do you want to feel? How do you want to feel? How do you want to feel when you're with that person, without that person, with that opportunity, without that opportunity, when you're living there? What does that look like? And really get so vivid in that imagination. And the third, sit in a meditation. And you are going to offer it up. Maybe you have an altar, maybe you have a desk, maybe you have a vision board, maybe you have you have something that you've created on Canva that shows kind of something that you can look at every day that can lead you to, if it's meant for you, again, if it's meant for you, right? Anything greater or even better that is meant for me or more. And then you watch and wait and you see what happens. You see. You're not attached to the outcome. And that's what most people get lost in when we are kind of also combining this with the art of manifestation. They think it has to happen or else. Or what? Because will you be happy if it doesn't happen? Will you be happy even if you don't get the partner of your dreams? Even if that person is not there yet? Will you still be happy? Are you still happy with your friends right now that you have, the family right now, the place that you're living in right now? Or are you ashamed of the place that you're living right now? You don't want anybody to come over because you're like, I'm not there yet. No, host gatherings there. Bring people over. Create the fine tunes of the spaciousness and the aesthetic that you want that makes you feel really good, because you'll attract more of that, and that vision will slowly and steadily come true, because there's going to be things that you're going to be aligning in your path. And you will then trust more and more your intuition, because you're paying attention to the small signs at every step, at every place, at every intersection, at every coffee shop. And you will then say yes to those breadcrumbs. And that is my gift for you, my friends. I am so excited to share that for the first time ever, I wanted to invite you into what we have going on at Highest Self Institute. If you are curious about harnessing your spiritual practice, that connection with yourself, and as moms, I know we tend to put it on the back burner because everyone else's needs is so important, but this is for you. If you want to empower your life, if you want to heal generations before you and after you, pass this on maybe perhaps to your children, and maybe you want to do this as a as a vocation, as a practice, as becoming a coach? Well, we have a 6-month spiritual life coaching certification program where you can actually step into 6-month container with myself and my co-founder Sahara Rose at Highest Self Institute. And we've trained over 3,000 people in our platforms across the realms of Dharma coaching, embodiment coaching, and now spiritual life coaching. Well, what is a spiritual life coach? Well, it's somebody that helps you get centered in all areas of your life. And mostly that connection with yourself, that connection with that sacred source, which is you, that connection with building your intuition, that connection with understanding how to manifest things in your life, the connection with understanding the sacred rituals, the art of your feminine and your masculine energies, the art of being able to hold space for other people and yourself, the art of paying attention to sometimes the signs that we can't actually really see. We can feel, we can sense, we can know, we can understand, we can get the downloads, we can get the visions. So this is that school that you've never had. And we have weekly pods that you are going to be in different cohorts with a group of 50 to 100 people, very small groups where you are in like-minded community. You help others discover their authentic selves. You can create your own client if you choose to do this as a vocation or a practice or a coaching profession within yourself. You can help heal some of those wounds, some of the things that you've gone through, some of the things that perhaps maybe you're navigating through right now, and maybe there is no answer. Maybe there is, maybe you're losing hope. This could be that oasis, this destination for you to step into the next iteration of your life. And not only that, but elevate and impact your influence. Because what if you can use some of the gifts that you've had, some of the things, the tools that you've been blessed with, really understanding your superpower, but helping others step into their highest elevation. And maybe you just need to step into your own elevation first. Maybe you want to use this for yourself, your own journey, your own personal growth, your own spiritual growth, to really get connected with your roots. And your roots, and I'm not talking about roots, your ancestral roots, but roots of where we come from, Mother Earth, nature, getting more embodied within ourselves, and how to actually create sacred transformation and heal emotional and spiritual wounds that oftentimes we don't get to talk about, but how to actually be there for your children, how to be there for your family, how to be there for yourself, but also pour into your loved ones because you've energetically poured into yourself. We will talk about energy dynamics. We will talk about all of clearing out past lives and energetic frequencies so that we can really come into alignment with ourselves and working with our highest self in the process. So if this is you, I would love to invite you to look at what we have going on at Highest Self Institute, and you can book a call with any of our alignment coaches to see if this is right for you. You can go ahead to neetabhushan.com/spiritual, and that will take you to our link to book a call with one of our coaches that are standing by. Now, I hope you loved this episode. And if you're like, wow, I want to know more, I will link everything also in the show notes for you. So tell me, what has your relationship been with your intuition? Was there a nudge that you ignored? Was there someone that you kind of felt like, there is something deeper or bigger calling me? Did you ignore it? Did you get the hunch again? What happened next? Did you run into that person 4 times in a week? Did you get that same sign? Were you driving past the same cars? Did you get something in your email? I want to know all of it. So drop us below in the comments. If you are watching this on YouTube, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It helps us grow the show more than you know. And if you're listening to this in Spotify or iTunes, go ahead and click the like or thumbs up button. And if you haven't already shared your review, what are you waiting for? We would love to hear how the show has impacted your life in ways. This helps us grow the show more than you know. So thank you so much for being here. And until next time on The Brave Table.